Hi guys, welcome back. This video is going to be part 5 of the workshop makeover. I'm going to be emptying the cabinets at the end of the workshop and dismantling those. Then I'm going to be making a start on the dust hood and the dust drawer. So stay tuned. So you join me in the workshop where I'm halfway through emptying the cabinets, and as you can see the workshop looks like a bomb's hit here. So far I've emptied one side of the cabinets and I've got the other side to do, and it's at this point in a project where I question my insanity for taking on such a big job. But I am kind of glad I'm ripping this out because I bought this MDF from a well-known big box store here in the UK for £22 a sheet, and it really hasn't held up that well. So that's one cabinet done and one remaining, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to fit all the stuff that's come out the cabinets in the 8 drawers that I've made. So that's both cabinets now dismantled and chucked in the garden where they belong. The assembly table has been moved down the end of the workshop for the time being, and I can now crack on with something else. Right, so now I need to work on the dust hood for the Mitre saw. I'm going to be using the original dust hood, but obviously because my old setup had a much larger depth, I don't need these to come away from the wall quite as far, so I need to rip these down. Now, on my last one, I had magnet catches all around and 2 separate front pieces that enclose the saw in and help to contain all the dust. But I don't really want to be using the magnet catches on this one. I want to try something different. I've got a couple of ideas, but I'm not sure if it's going to work yet. So instead of removable panels, I want to do sliding doors. So I saw a video a while back from a channel called DIY Montreal. She made a dust hood and she added sliding doors, and I thought that was an absolute brilliant idea. And after watching her video, looked at my saw and quickly found out that I can't actually do it the same way that she done it. So I'll leave a link to her video in the description so you can go and watch that and see how she went about it. But I'm going to have to come up with another way by attaching them at the top. So I purchased myself a T-slot cutting bit and come up with the idea that I could put a T-slot on the underside of the top of the hood, and then I could build the doors, put some bolts in the top edges on the doors, and then the head of the bolts would hopefully slide in the T-slot. But then I had an even better idea. Why not just put a T-profile on the top of the door itself using the table saw? So that is what I'm going to be attempting to do in this video. I'm not sure if it's going to work yet, but we're about to find out. So I start off by cutting the panels down to size, and then I can move on to routing the T-slot in the upper panel. But because my fence doesn't adjust in far enough, I've got to add a small spacer, which I'm just sticking to the original fence with hot glue, so I can actually route the slot where I need it. So before anyone mentions it, using a T-slot cutter in a trim router probably isn't a good combination But as my bigger router and table are buried in the workshop, I'm going to have to make do with this. So after I've burnt my way through the plywood and the T-slot is cut, I can then move over to the table saw and start cutting the same T-profile on the top of the doors. So to cut the T-profile on the doors, I'm just running the pieces both sides across the table saw, adjusting the fence slightly and then repeating the process until it's wide enough. I then run it through on its edge to decrease the width of the actual T. I was originally going to use 12mm for the doors, but after holding the 12mm up against the T-slot, I realised it weren't quite wide enough, so I had to up it to 18mm instead. And this is my first attempt to see whether my idea is actually going to work or whether it was a completely stupid idea. And to my surprise, it actually seems to work. A little bit sticky, but it works. So now I can start attaching the dust hood, and I'm using the original pocket holes. And if you're wondering why the top panel has a chamfered edge, that's because it was the original door off my old Mitre cabinet. And if I'd have cut that off, it wouldn't have quite been wide enough for the top, so I left it on there. So now I can start notching out the doors to fit around the mitre saw, and I just take my time with this, marking out where I think it needs to be cut, cutting a little bit off, and then I can check it and make any alterations I need to make. What I don't want to do is cut too much off. So with one door now done, I can move on to door number 2. So with both doors now done, I just need to try it out and make sure there's enough clearance. Then I cut out 2 little filler pieces, which I'm going to be putting at the base, both sides, just to close the gaps off. And then I can use some of the old hardboard that I had on the outside of my old saw table it's rough on one side and dead smooth on the other. So I've cut a piece of that and I'm going to fit that right at the back just to help funnel the dust down into the drawer. Then I cut myself some small wedges out of some offcut, and I'm going to hot glue them to the side, both sides, and then I'm going to add some more bits of hardboard on top of those just to help funnel the dust into the drawer at the sides. Then I just fill the gaps that are left with some more hot glue. So because the doors were a little bit sticky in places, I'm rubbing in some candle wax on both doors and in the T-slot, and this should help the door slide a little bit easier. So I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised that my idea actually worked. So to get the doors to meet dead in the middle, I'm adding these little bits to the back edge of each door to act as door stops. And the last thing to do was add some handles, and for that I'm using some old knobs that I had on our old bedroom units. It's all going to be painted, so I'm not worried about how they look at the moment. Right guys, hope you enjoyed that one. I'm super impressed that it actually works. I was in two minds whether it'd actually work or not, but it's actually turned out really great. So happy with that. So if you like the video, don't forget to smash the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, then hit the subscribe button and the bell icon and you'll be notified of all my future uploads. So until the next video, stay safe and you'll see me in the next one. Cheers for watching guys.